Advaitavridavarshini Bhagavati Ashtadashadyayini Ambatvamanusantatami Bhagavad Gita Bhavatveshini.
Yeah.
Tattvamasi is Vedanta.
No, we have to start from there. Okay, yeah.
Tattvamasi is Vedanta.
Yes.
Tvam means you, which means I for each person. Therefore, the nature of I is the meaning of the word. Once again. All right. Of the word Tvam in Mahavakya Tattvam Asi. Vedanta is nothing else but Tattvamasi. The statement that reveals the identity between the Jiva and Brahman. In the first 6 chapters of the Gita, Krishna analyzed this Tvam Pada, the word you meaning I, and all that is connected to it. And how did he begin? By saying that Atma is neither the subject, karta, nor an object, karma. To subject oneself to sorrow, one should be either a karta, a subject, or karma, an object. But Krishna said Atma is not subject to objectification. Therefore, it can never be destroyed. Since Atma is not even available for anyone to look at, where is the question of doing something to it? Time, Kala, itself cannot approach the Atma, and no other means of destruction can make Atma the subject of its destructive measures. Atma is therefore definitely not an object, karma. Hence, it might be said that Atma is not an object, perhaps it is the karma the subject.
Karta. Here, karma means not an object. Karma means second case in Sanskrit. So karma is not action, not an object. Karma means on which something can be done. That is called second case in Sanskrit. So karta is subject, first case. Karma is second case, object. Like that. That is how it is explained. Yeah.
Karta the subject. No, Krishna said it is neither a direct doer nor an indirect doer of any action. Therefore, it is free from kartrabhya. Doership. Kartrutva, doership. It has neither a doership nor enjoyership, nor does it have the status of being an object to anything else. All that is there is Atma. Krishna said, Atma that is free from everything and therefore free from sorrow. When Arjuna asked him to describe a wise person, Krishna told him that a person of wisdom is one who is happy without there being any reason. Knowing the nature of Atma, the Swarupa of Atma, such a person is free from any limitation, being identical with Brahman, Ishvara. Here the topic being Pada Artha, Krishna mentioned the identity of Tvam with Brahman, the Tat of Mahavakya, Tattvamasi, but did not go into the meaning of Tat at length, as he did in the second group of 6 chapters dealing with Ishvara. Because Tvam Pada Artha is equated to Tat Pada, a proper analysis of the meaning of Tat is also necessary to complete the unfoldment of the equation Tattvamasi. If the individual is indeed Brahman, this knowledge has to be gained. Therefore, Arjuna had a doubt about what he should do. Should he just go with karma or take a life of sannyasa? Since knowledge would deliver the goods, he naturally thought he should go for the knowledge, but in the process of discussing this with Krishna, he was advised to do what was to be done. Krishna supported his advice with a number of arguments, saying that from any standpoint, from the power standpoint, the pain standpoint, or the duty standpoint, there is nothing that really barred Arjuna from doing what was to be done here and now. All this was discussed in the body of the second chapter. And because Arjuna had a natural doubt, there is a third chapter again covering Tvam Pada alone. If
Yeah,
knowledge,
see, basically, whether it is Arjuna or anyone, all of us right now, we are in a situation in life, right? Whatever you call it. So, from that situation only, we want to have this understanding. So, for that, the situation has to be made conducive, right? Then only you can go for the understanding, you can study and all that. For the situation to be conducive, you have to live a life which is creating an infrastructure within you, wherein you will be able to study. So, this is applicable to Arjuna, where he is in a warlike situation. It is applicable to us where we are in a family like, society like situation where we have to keep our parameters in good shape, no? In the sense reasonably okay. Then only you will be allowed by the situation to be conducive to study. So it is inevitable that we always say that. So that means there is an inevitability for you to be at home with where you are by a certain level of living, certain level of attitude, and certain level of interaction which is required for the other people around you to be not distracting you. So it's all very important. So that is why Karma Yoga, the whole life of karma to be lived as Karma Yoga is very practical in Gita for the simple reason that it allows you to grow into a situation where life becomes conducive to this higher learning. So you cannot just drop everything, and because it is not going to go away. You can drop and go away, but it will chase you. Wherever you go, it will chase. Some thoughts will be there, somebody will approach, all those things, especially these days. And the Kalathil, at least perhaps people vanish into the forest. Nowadays there is no such forest where people cannot access you. So all these internet and other things, so it's impractical to even think in those terms. So what we have to do in the current situation, we have to live a very conducive life, which will give us an infrastructure wherein we can move into this understanding, and slowly thereafter you can, once those things are falling in place, you will be able to take charge of the situation. You can decide the level of activity, level of living, as you grow, and all that, nicely move into that. That is precisely what he is trying to say to Krishna, Arjuna in a warlike situation, and is equally applicable to us in our current situation. Yeah.
if knowledge liberates, why do karma at all? The third chapter, Arjuna asks why she should not take to knowledge, which for him amounted to talking to the life of sannyasa. If knowledge is what liberates. For him, sannyasa and knowledge were identical. He acknowledged that he was interested in anything other than knowledge, then of course he should do karma. But he was not interested in anything else. Therefore, he thought that he should take sannyasa and pursue knowledge. Arjuna knew that by taking sannyasa was the only way to be absolved from performing his various duties. That it was a ritual to release one from all rituals and all other duties as well. In other words, it is the final ritual. Once this ritual is over, there are no more roles to play, and one is free to pursue knowledge alone. To Arjuna, this seemed to be the most desirable thing to do because he was no longer interested in the kingdom. He was only interested in moksha. It seemed to be the only course open to him, and therefore he thought it correct. While telling Arjuna that he should do his duty, Krishna also made sure that Arjuna understood that knowledge alone liberates, that only the one who knows is free, and so on. Naturally, then Arjuna wanted to know and to know thoroughly. From his question, however, it was very clear that he had some insight, but that his understanding of karma and sannyasa was not at all clear. This was why he kept asking Krishna to tell him which was better, karma or the pursuit of knowledge. It seemed to Arjuna that Krishna was contradicting himself, praising knowledge as the means for liberation, and at the same time asking him to fight. Because Arjuna was confused, he asked Krishna to decide which would be better for him. Would karma give him moksha or would jnana give him moksha? The twofold lifestyle. In order to clear up Arjuna's confusion, Krishna began again saying that he himself had introduced his twofold lifestyle in the beginning. Loka asmin dvida
Lokesmin dvivida nishta pura prokta
pura
jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoginam. Very famous statement in Gita. Yeah.
maya anaga jnana yogena sankhya
Sankhyanam.
yogena yoginam.
Yeah. Lokesmin vivida nishta pura prokta mayanaga jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoginam. This is the third chapter, third sloka. Yeah.
In Jnana Yoga, one withdraws nivritti from all activities to pursue knowledge.
One is called Jnana Yoga.
One sentence you have skipped.
One is called
Jnana Yoga or Nivritti Marga, and the other is called Karma Yoga and Pravritti Marga or Pravritti Marga. In Jnana Yoga, one withdraws from Nivritti from all activities to pursue knowledge, and in Karma Yoga, one performs activities, Pravritti, with the right attitude and pursues knowledge also. These two lifestyles are also found in the first two verses of Isavasya
Upanishad, which I had given one talk, Isavasya Upanishad, the first two verses. The same thing. It was at that time also I explained that it gives the essence of Gita. Yeah.
In the Swami, in that
Channel it is there.
Pune, Nivritti Nathan. ಗಣಪತಿ ಇದೆ ನನ್ನ ಬುಕ್
ನಿವೃತ್ತಿ ಮಾರ್ಗ
ಇಲ್ಲ ನಿವೃತ್ತಿ ನಾದ
Deity's name is Nivrittinadar, he says.
ನಿವೃತ್ತಿ ನಾದ
Nivrittinadar.
ವಿಠಲ.
Basically, is it a Ganapati temple?
No, it is Pandripur.
Pandripur, okay. Nivrittinadar.
அது இல்ல பூனேல ஒரு சுவாமிஜி பார்த்தேன் ஒரு மடம்.
தெரியல எனக்கு. I don't know. Nivrittinadar, he says his friend is.
It's a good name actually. Dukkha Nivritti, like any people, any sort of affliction they have, they pray, he will take care. Like something like Vigna Hara. Ganapati is also called Vigna Vinayaka as well as Vigna Hara. Vigna Hara means one who takes care of all of our troubles. Nivrittinadar also may be like that.
I'll discuss it tomorrow. Having told Arjuna all this, Krishna described Karma Yoga, repeating what he had already said in the second chapter. He told Arjuna that Karma Yoga is a means for moksha, that it is not something opposed to moksha, nor is it opposed to sannyasa. Rather, it is another way of gaining moksha, a way that is available for those who are not prepared to live the life of a sannyasi. The lifestyle known as sannyasa is not an easy one. Why? Because in sannyasa you do not have a field where you can express yourself, and being able to express yourself is what helps you to mature. Therefore, it is preferable to be in the field, the world, and live a life of relationship within it. Relationship means playing various roles in the world, whereby you get rid of your ragas and dveshas. This is why Krishna talked about Karma Yoga predominantly in the third chapter. And for whom is this Karma Yoga? Not for Ishvara, it is for the Jiva, Tvam Pada Artha.
Prashant, you want to read or shall I read?
I can read. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Krishna as Ishvara. Krishna told Arjuna that what he had been telling him had been coming down throughout the ages. He had given this vision to humanity through the great sages, a few of whom Krishna named at the beginning of the 4th chapter. Many kings knew it and all the rishis knew it. Even so, it is not easily available, which is why Duryodhanas are so many. On hearing this, Arjuna had a problem. Krishna had said that he had thought those who had lived at the beginning of the creation, like Vivaswan and others. How could this be? Krishna was his contemporary. What was he talking about? Therefore, he wanted to know who this Krishna really was. In reply, Krishna told him that they both had a number of births and that he, Krishna, knew all of his births, whereas Arjuna did not. Bahuni me yatittani janmani tavacha Arjuna tani aham veda sarvani na tvam veta parantapa.
Yeah. Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tava cha Arjuna tani aham veda sarvani na tvam veda parantapa. Yeah. That is the 4th chapter, 5th sloka. Yeah.
In other words, if Arjuna knew himself, he would be as free as Krishna. Krishna then told Arjuna that he, Krishna, was not an ordinary jiva and that he was an incarnation of Ishvara, in other words, an avatara. Even though he was available empirically in human form, he did not subject himself to the empirical rules of reality, and therefore he was not born of karma. He was born because of the prayers of the people. In fact, he was not even born. Knowing he is never born, he simply assumed a body. Renouncing the doer. Krishna also told Arjuna that this was not only true for him, but that it was true for Arjuna as well. If Arjuna knew he was only assuming a body, that only a form was born, that he is never born, he would be the same as Krishna. One has to know that I, Atma, is never born. This is what is meant by Jnana Karma Sannyasa, the renunciation of karma through knowledge. Krishna then defined Jnana Karma Sannyasa as giving up Kartritva, doership. And this giving up of Kartritva is not an action, it is a fact that has to be understood. Atma is already given up in the sense that Atma is and was free from doership. Knowing Atma as being free from doership is Jnana Karma Sannyasa, whereas in Karma Sannyasa, karma is giving up, but the doer is still there giving up the karma. You may tell everyone that you have given up all your karmas, that you are a sannyasi, but it is the karta that says this, and this karta has to be dealt with even if you take to a life of sannyasa. The person who says, I have done the last ritual is the karta, and that karta is the one who has to be given up. Therefore, Krishna told Arjuna that doership is what has to be given up.
Yeah, it is beautiful example. I don't know, at that time also I think in the discussion during the chapters also I had told, I think. So, this is called Harichandra stick. I don't know whether you remember.
Yes, you
I
told
told
us.
that. You remember that? See, that is what he is talking about. The person who says I have given up has to be given up. Even Shankaracharya has told, Yet yena tejasi tat tyaja. That is, you give up everything one by one by understanding. Finally, yena tejasi tat tyaja, by which you are giving up all these things, that also you give up. That is Ahankara. See, Ahankara is playing slowly, it plays is by understanding better about the whole thing that everything is Ishvara, Ahankara slowly comes down. Finally, by which you have learnt all these things, you are aware of, finally that also you give up. So that is called Harichandra stick. That is what is being done in a funeral situation where the fire is completely lit. Till the time it is not completely burnt, the Harichandra stick is used by the Vettiyam. The what you call the Mashanam keeper, he will keep on putting the body down because of the gas inside, it will come up while burning. Nowadays, all electric crematorium, there is no problem, but in those days, so it will come up. Not really coming up. The gas, because of the gas underneath, it comes up. So the fellow will do it like this so that all parts of the body are properly burnt, because that is a ritual properly to be done. Once finally it is done, that stick he doesn't, as a practice, whatever stick he has used for that body, he finally puts it in the fire. That is called hadisha. In the same way, yena tejasi tat teja. The person who says, I have done the last ritual, he also has to be given up. The karta is the one who has to be given up. That is what is called jnana karma sannyasa. That is, Atma alone is, everything else is coming and going. Nothing. I was never born, never gone. That sort of an understanding. It is called jnana karma. The wrong understanding covers the right understanding. That is why Brahmani avastita maya vikshepa avrutti rupini. There is a drigdishya viveka, there is this sentence. Brahmani avastita maya vikshepa avrutti rupini. So generally what the people will say, oh, avaranam, that is, ignorance should come first, and then you say we are having wrong understanding. Why the wrong understanding is put first? Brahmani avastita maya vikshepa avrutti rupini. Why vikshepa is put first? Instead of avaranam means ignorance. Vikshepa means distraction. So distraction is put first and avaranam is put second. Actually first avaranam happens, then only distraction happens or wrong understanding happens. That is fine, but the problem is we are in the current situation where we are living with the wrong understanding of life. That is what I was telling. Whether we like it or not, all of us in the same boat. Wrong understanding, identify, so much identified with my body, name, fame, job, relationship, life, everything. So much of accumulated wrong understanding. That is why not only avidya and broods of avidya, Swamiji will say. Famous Swamiji likes to use this word, broods of avidya. So much of avidya is accumulated, layers and layers and layers of avidya over generations and over janmas. So from there we have to move. We have to keep on scrapping off the layers one by one, one by one, one by one, one by one. Finally Atma is there, very much there. It doesn't go anywhere. That is why, that is what is being talked about basically. That is, so wrong understanding, giving up the wrong understanding alone is jnana. There is nothing, right understanding is already there. You are already there. Like Kottapalli Madi Irkani. But you are not able to have a darshan because of your wrong understanding. That's what he used to say. Yeah.
Strictly speaking.
Only the person who is able to see actionless in the midst of all activities, karmani akarma ya pashyet, can be called a sannyasi. The person is a jnana karma sannyasi.
Jnana karma sannyasi. Yeah. When the hyphenation comes, you can read it together. Yeah.
The person is jnana karma sannyasi, one who gives up all action by knowledge, by knowing that Atma is not the doer. To make this even clearer, Krishna said, the fire of knowledge, jnana agni, destroys all karmas. So Arjuna was getting the knowledge from Krishna. Still, Krishna told him as part of the teaching to gain the knowledge with the help of a teacher who knows. Approach such teachers, Krishna said, and they will teach you. Having said all of this again, he told Arjuna to get up and take to Karma Yoga some Atishta Uttishta. Why? Because karma can only be given up in terms of knowledge, and Karma Yoga would prepare him for that knowledge. Therefore, it is not Karma Sannyasa that is important, but Jnana Karma Sannyasa, and the difference between the two is to be clearly understood here. You want to read?
Okay. Having again been told to take to yoga, Arjuna asked the same question using different words. You praise sannyasa and you also praise yoga, Krishna. Of the two, please tell me once and for all, which one is better? Sannyasam karmanam Krishna punaryogam cha samsashi yat shreyat eteyo ekam tatme bruhi sunischitam. Here Arjuna was saying that now he did not think that Krishna was praising both sannyasa and karma, but that he still had a problem. He still wanted to know which one would give him shreyas. From this, we see that Arjuna was still beating the same drum, still harping on the same sting of doubt. Therefore, once again, Krishna told him that both lifestyles give moksha, but because sannyasa is not as simple as giving up all of one's activities, the life of sannyasa cannot be of any use to a person who is not prepared for it. Contemplativeness does not come by sheer will alone. In fact, the will does not come into it at all. There is no choice, really speaking. Krishna was telling Arjuna here that he could take to sannyasa if he wanted to, that no one could stop him. But whether he would be a sannyasi in temperament, in disposition, was anyone's guess. Whereas Karma Yoga would in no way deny him the knowledge. In time, he would reach Brahman, Yoga Yukta Muni Brahma, na Dachirena Adhigacchati.
Yeah, actually, in this particular verse, Yoga Yukta Muni Brahma Nachirenadi Gachati, there Vashyakara says here the Brahma means sannyasa. It's not in the sense Yoga Yuktaha Munihi, once Munihi means Manana Silaha, in the sense once your mind is already resolved because of Karma Yoga, a certain level of tranquility obtains in your mind, your Manana Silaha, automatically your mind will become contemplative. That contemplative life is called sannyasa. That is what Brahma na chirena means not very later, meaning very early. Adhigacchati. What he means Brahma here is sannyasa. That's what he is explaining in the Bhashya. Yeah.
Krishna went on to say that the one who is endowed with yoga is one whose mind is purified and therefore there is mastery over the sense organs. This is the preparation needed for knowledge to become very clear to the person. Then the person knows that the self is the self of all beings and all beings are in the self. Once a person recognizes this fact, then even though he or she performs action, the person is not affected by the action, which is renunciation of action by knowledge. Therefore, one is aiming to be a Tattvavit, knower of the truth. And to become a Tattvavit, there is a choice of lifestyle, but it is really not much of a choice. In other words, if one prefers to live a life of sannyasa, thinking it will be more convenient than a life of karma yoga, then one had better become a karma yogi, Krishna was saying. Whereas the moment one thinks one does not require sannyasa, then one can become a sannyasi. That is how it is. Sannyasa will stick to the person if one is ready. If one is not ready, taking to the lifestyle itself will not make one a jnana karma sannyasi. Because this point has to be understood, Krishna kept talking to Arjuna. Otherwise, he would simply have told him that he was unfit for sannyasa. Karma yoga and then sannyasa is the order. Krishna was not saying there is no sannyasa. He was saying there is, which is what Arjuna found so confusing. But Krishna was not confusing Arjuna. He was educating him. He wanted Arjuna to see the difference between karma sannyasa and jnana karma sannyasa because his question arose from confusion. He looked at karma yoga and sannyasa as black and white. In fact, there is no black and white here, nor is there any grey. Both karma yoga and sannyasa are equally efficacious, the only difference being that you have to be ready for a life of sannyasa. This preparation is possible by living a life of karma yoga before becoming a sannyasi. If you take to sannyasa before you are ready, then as a sannyasi, you will still have to make yourself ready. It is a very difficult thing to do, like becoming a professor and then becoming qualified in your subject matter. It is not an easy situation, especially for your students. Similarly, if you take to sannyasa before you are ready, you are a sannyasi merely in name. To become a sannyasi in the true sense of the word in such a situation is not impossible, but it is certainly very difficult. Therefore, Krishna wanted Arjuna to understand that the real meaning of sannyasa is giving up action in terms of knowledge alone. There is no literal giving up here. By knowing you are not a doer, you give up doership and then you are free. In the meantime, Krishna said, just do what is to be done without being excited or restless about what you are doing or not doing, and in time, this knowledge, this sannyasa will be gained. For whom is the sannyasa? Is it for Ishvara or for the Jiva? Again, it is for the Jiva alone. Meditation. At the end of the 5th chapter, Krishna introduced the topic of meditation, the predominant subject matter of the 6th chapter. The meditation discussed here can be taken as that which invokes the grace of Ishvara, Saguna Brahma, or contemplation on Atma, that is Brahman, Nirguna Brahma. Both interpretations are possible because both are meant for jnana. Meditating on Ishvara is meant for grace, and that grace is also necessary for jnana. With that grace, you gain a teacher and thereby the knowledge that is moksha. If you already have a teacher and have done Shravana and Manana, then you can live a life of contemplation, meditation, nididhyasana. How you sit in meditation was also pointed out in this chapter. All this, the meditation and what precedes it, is for the Jiva alone. Thus, the first 6 chapters are about the Jiva, the meaning of the word you, Tvam Pada Artha, and everything that concerns you. What the individual has to do as a Karma Yogi. Karma Yoga is a way for this person to prepare the mind for gaining knowledge, that there is knowledge to be gained, that there is sannyasa also. All these are relevant to the Tvam-pada Artha alone. The nature of this Tvam Atma was revealed as being free from being either a subject, karta, or an object, karma, and was equated to Ishvara, Tat-pada Artha. Because
most important thing is both the karma yoga as well as sannyasa is meant for Tvam-pada only. See, once we move into the next 6 chapters and next 6 chapters, it is purely explaining the other part of the equation. What is Tat? What is world? Asi means if you are equal to the world, Jagat, then that means Ishvara is not separate from either you or the world. So Ishvara and the world are going to be the subject matters for the rest of the 12 chapters. So the first 6 chapters only is very important for Purushartha Nishchaya. What in my life I want to be. So that is why both Karma Yoga as well as Sannyasa is important. In the sense that Purushartha Nishchayam should be there. What I want is not a lifestyle. I am not looking for a lifestyle. I am looking for the wholesome understanding of life. For that, whatever helps, whether it is Karma Yoga, whether it is Sannyasa, it really doesn't matter. What matters is only understanding. So for that, what is my temperament, where I stand in life, what is my attitude, what is my disposition, all those things should be clear. So for that only this vichara of karma and karma yoga. What is karma you should know, and what is karma yoga, the attitudes and all you must know. Once you know where you stand, then you can take up a position. Okay, what I will do? I will reduce my activities. Because in the current situation I am talking about, in Arjuna's situation it was very clear. It is a question of fighting the war and then get out of it and thereafter you can go for study. But for us, it is not like that. We are all in a very, a lot of choices are there and all that. So we have to make our life in such a way which is conducive to perpetuate this understanding while living. So we have to adjust our parameters, life's parameters. For that, there should be a lot of conviction in our understanding. Yeah, this is what I want. Accordingly, automatically, your disposition and your time management and your priorities will change in life. Accordingly, automatically, you will slip into the situation where things become conducive. So that is precisely the whole subject matter of the first 6 chapters. So once these first 6 chapters are clear, Purushartha Nishchaya is clear, and our attitudes are clear, thereafter what is going to be explained is that what is Ishvara's reality, what is the world is all about. In the world, when we navigate, what are all the impediments that is possible, what is the Adi Bhautika grace, Adi Adhyatma, what is your own life, around your life, and Adi Bhautika surroundings, and Ishvara, all those things will come in place. Like for getting the grace of Ishvara, for getting the grace of the people around you, how to live, all those values and all those things will come only to make our life conducive in the given circumstances by ensuring that the circumstances around us are conducive. But finally, it is up to you. You have to make your. That is why the first 6 chapters make all the difference. The Tvampadartha should be very clear. Then automatically the next 6 chapters and the next 6 chapters will tell you what this world is all about, how your prayers have to be, and so that your clarity. Even there should be in prayers also there should be clarity. There should not be another trip like as I was always been telling that Bhagavan should not be another petition. You go and keep giving petition, I want this, like you do in office promotion and all that. So that part of it has to be made very clear. That is why the Ishvara 7th chapter itself, Bhagavan, in the whole Bhagavad Gita, one thing you can say is only Ishvara. It doesn't talk about this Devata, that Devata, this Devata will give you that Devata will give you this and all that. Those promises and those transactions, those trips are all not there. Only Ishvara. Understanding of Ishvara, that is the hallmark of Gita. The only word they use is, and Bhagavan himself says only Ishvara, and the understanding, what it means, what place it has got in your life and the world. So these two things, Tattvadartha and the Ishvara and the world understanding is brought about in the next 6 chapters, but it is all meant for you, the Tvampadartha, which has been already clarified very clearly in the first 6 chapters. So the first 6 chapters are the most important part of it. When this is clear, then the rest of the chapters we can ensure that our understanding of the world and our understanding of Ishvara will become conducive to my perpetuating this knowledge, my perpetuating to clarify and to make a wholesome understanding of life from the standpoint of I, the being. That is the important beginning of Bhagavad Gita. Yeah.
Because Tvam and Tat were equated in the analysis of the meaning of the word Tvam, Ishvara Tat also has to be analyzed. Who is this Ishvara? How can I be Ishvara? Because there is a doubt about the validity of the equation, Ishvara is analyzed in the next 6 chapters. Even though every chapter talks about the equation, the predominant topic of these next 6 chapters is Ishvara, the Lord. The basis of Arjuna's fear. In the 11th chapter, Arjuna gained a cosmic vision of the Lord with the grace of Krishna. Although Arjuna gained this vision, it was not total because he did not include himself in it. And because he makes this distinction between himself and the whole, there is fear. Arjuna's fear was so great when faced with the cosmic vision of Ishvara that he begged Krishna to revert to his human form. He found the old form, the one with the whip in hand, much easier and more pleasant to deal with, whereas in the cosmic form, the whole world was being devoured by Krishna. All the beings that one could possibly imagine were between the molars of Ishvara. Hanging there in the jaws of Ishvara, in the jaws of time, all the jivas were being ground to powder as it were. Arjuna saw all of this. Naturally then, he was very frightened. Why? Because he excluded himself from the cosmic vision, meaning that he excluded himself from the whole. And because of that, he was overwhelmed by that whole. Concluding the second Shadga, called Ishvara Shadga, Krishna talks about devotion to Ishvara, Ishvara Bhakti, the topic of the 12th chapter. The third Shadga, remaining 6 chapters of the Gita, begins with Krishna telling Arjuna that between him, Arjuna, and Ishvara, there is an identity. This identity is represented in the Mahakavya Tat Tvam Asi, Mahavakya Tat Tvam Asi, by the word Asi, and is analyzed in the last 6 chapters. What is this identity? What brings it about, and so on, are analyzed. Again, Krishna went into the means for this knowledge, the values, and a variety of other topics. This is because, although the identity between the Jiva and Ishvara exists, it is not recognized. Therefore, the means that are to be used to bring this identity about in terms of knowledge is discussed from the 13th chapter onwards. In this way, the 3 words Tat, Tvam, and Asi are each analyzed in the 3 Shadkas. We have already seen the first 6 chapters dealing with the Tvam Pada. Now, from the first verse of the 7th chapter onwards, we will see the second group of 6 chapters, the topic of which is Tat, Ishvara. Chapter 7.
Chapter 7. Jnana Vijnana Yoga. Topic of indirect and immediate knowledge. Introduction. The last verse of some chapters of Gita can seem out of context and therefore an interpolation. However, if you look at the verse from the standpoint of what is going to come, it proves to be a building block, a connecting link. In the 5th chapter, for instance, there are a couple of verses introducing meditation, which is the topic of the next chapter. In the 6th chapter, Krishna says in the second last verse, Tasmat Yogi Bhava, therefore be a yogi. The statement sums up the yoga of meditation, but in the verse that follows there is a building block. It contains Prashna Bija, a seed of a question. It is not an explicit question. Let us look into the verse. Yoginam api sarvesham madgate antaratmana Shraddhavan bhajate yo mam same yuktatamo mataha. Here Krishna says, the one who has Shraddha, who with the mind absorbed in me, madgatena antaratma, contemplates upon me.
Atmana meaning not to the Atma that is within. Antaratmana, the 4th case, yeah.
Contemplates upon me, he is the most exalted among the yogis. This is my vision. This is a seed for 2 obvious questions. How does the yogi become one whose mind is absorbed as in Ishvara? What is the nature of Krishna, the Lord? Such a doubt is possible because this has not been explained in detail so far. Bhagavan detects the questions and he answers them in the chapters that follow. Idrisam
Madhiyam Tattvam. Madhiyam Tattvam means my real nature. Yeah. Idrisham.
Nature of myself. Yeah. This is how one is absorbed in me. Verse 1. Unfoldment to the Tatpada begins. The first 6 chapters of the Gita, the meaning of Tvam, you, the Jiva in the Mahavakya, Tattvamasi, was unfolded in detail. Now in the following 6 chapters, the word Tat, Ishvara, the cause of everything, is the predominant topic. With a desire to unfold this, Sri Bhagavan says, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, Maya Saktamana, Yogam Yunjan, Madasrayaha, Asamsayam, Samagram Mam,
Asamsayam Samagram Mam. Yata Nyasyasi Tashrunu. Yeah.
Asamsayam Samagram Mam. Yata Nyasyasi Tashrunu. Sri Bhagavan, Lord Krishna, who wants us
in our publications, when we read these slokas, in order to get the pronunciation correctly, there is one brown color book which I noticed in the library where if you open that book, the pronunciation for each word is given in 18 languages, and you can read it even in Tamil, for example, that particular page.
You
But it
can
is
do
only
that. Actually, all the 700 verses,
chanting.
if we get the good pronunciation and chanting, it will be nice, really. It will be a good thing to do. We can do that. We should do that, actually. Side by side, we should do Gita chanting. So actually, it's always done. Gita chanting as part of the regular study. One chapter, if we start doing it, it's not very difficult. 700 verses is not a big thing. Gita verses are very simple. Once you start doing it, you will get it properly. We should do that. Actually, it's good to, once by the time we finish Gita from study, we should have all the verses properly chanted. A lot of audios are there. Swamiji's teachings of Bhagavad Gita, the teachings of Swami Dayananda, the app is there, no? The app has got Pujya Swami chanting Bhagavad Gita verses. He himself is chanting. It's free. Bhagavad Gita chanting by Pujya Swamiji is free in that. So if you just put it on audio and keep listening and chanting, automatically in 15 days or 1 month you will be easily getting it. Not difficult. Gita chanting is not difficult at all.
Dear Swamiji, in all our prayers, for example, the Panchayatan Puja we do, the various pujas and the texts that we read, I feel from a I think I may be talking from a Vyavahara perspective. It seems to be having some objective. For example, Purusha Suktam, we praise the Lord, Antar Bahishcha Tat Sarvam, like that. But when it comes to Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam chanting, also I see it has, like many with the way that the people are explaining, that has some kind of an objective or purpose behind. If you do this, you get this. You do this, you get this. But Gita is more like you just read through like a text and understand what it is. So can we say Gita reading does not need any kind of you can just sit anywhere and just sit and read and understand.
Yeah, Gita chanting there is not it is not a what you call stipulated. Even otherwise also, none of these verses, the stipulation and all they say, if you really go to the Vedika, you should do like this before chanting this, you should do like this before chanting. All these things are there. That's all fine, but it's all said with the view to what you call
Right?
help people, put up people in a conducive situation. It becomes a habit. Like every day you must do Saturday you should do Sushnasnam. Or even for sannyasis, weekly Rudram chanting is advised and all that. It's all there so that people get some motivation, like some punya and all that for chanting. But Bhagavad Gita chanting is mainly for getting the verses correctly, so that when you later after going through the Gita home study, you don't have to remember. Once a verse is there, you can remember the understanding thereof and bring it there. So verse itself will be able to, and there is a small book in the Maharashtra Vidya publication also, where only the verses and verse meaning is there. Just simple sentence meaning. So once you go through Gita home study, if you have that sentence meaning, even that is you will be able to make out easily. You'll be able to make out that from the meaning only, you will be able to recollect what all you have studied in the Gita home study. Because that book has been brought out by the same, like Pujya Swamiji and Sakshat Kritananda, who have gone through this whole Gita home study. So that the gist of it is brought in those two-liners, sentence meaning of each verse. So that's also a good handbook to have. And so that once you are going through a couple of times, once you go, then if you have that handbook, even then, by reading the verse and that simple meaning, you will be able to get connected to what it means. So that much of, you'll be able to get a hang of the whole thing by doing that. So, but Gita chanting is a good exercise, good practice also. Time and again, whenever you find time, you can do that, chanting 10 verses and make it the pronunciation clean with you, so that there is no, and even the meters are so simple that unlike Rudram and all that, Gita chanting meters are very simple. You can easily do that, yeah.
Now, last week or a chitta function Swamiji, they are having one puja room and they are hurrying up. They have to finish these many verses of Bhagavad Gita. They're hurrying up on the sloka text. They are going. So when I listened to the first 3 chapters of the chanting, I felt like, idella nama padichirukkom, but we were thinking so much, speculating on it, understanding it, trying to do. These people are doing it from the, okay, if they're reading Bhagavatam, I can understand. Reading Parayanam of Vishnu Sahasranam, that's fine. But Bhagavad Gita was being chanted in such a speed, something like that, fast, fast, fast. I was thinking, why they are chanting Gita like that? Because
It is all, no, you can't, it is all in the practice of our religion, it's all there. Everywhere, we have got all this chanting becomes more important, rituals become more important than the way of living, way of understanding life. So that has got religion as religion was supposed to help us understand life better. But now religion has become part of the Vivahara. See, then it doesn't help. It becomes one more ritual. Like even our day-to-day life, morning, evening, whatever we do, it has become very ritualistic, mechanical, we say and all that. Because at the end of the day, if anything becomes mechanical, it occupies your time and mind, but it doesn't enrich your life. Understanding alone can enrich your life. For that, the orientation should be there. There should be an acharya who guides in that direction right from early life. Then automatically you will get into that mold. Okay, when you go to a prayer hall or something like that, you respect that. But at that time you cannot be telling that. But with reference to you, you must try to understand. So even Swamiji used to say, Vishnu Sahasranam also, whatever 10 couplets you take, there is 100 namas, and try to understand that as you chant, if you understand, that is good enough rather than mechanically chanting all the 1008 namas every day. So understanding life is meant for more for understanding. All this Veda mantras, every Purushottam, everywhere, Rudram, everywhere, Samakam, all, a lot of understanding is involved. If you do with understanding, as you do it, it becomes, you feel very comfortable with life. That is what at the end of the day we are interested in. No? We want to be comfortable with what we are. We don't want to be having questions hanging there all the time. If you have a comfortable life, thereafter plus minus can be there. It doesn't really matter. But life, this is your understanding of life should be complete. This is like every other subject matter. If you are reading mathematics also, if you are reading science also, if you are not understanding, you are not comfortable with it. If you ask any children, any child, a child which understands the subject matter will be interested in it. You don't have to tell him or her to go and study. Because she is interested, automatically she will study. Because he understands the subject matter. Understanding and performance go together. Performance automatically enhances understanding, understanding automatically enhances performance. Even in job situation, even in life, family situation, if you understand the people around, you feel comfortable and all that. So, premium should be given to understanding in life. And for that, the most important part of understanding life is understanding yourself. That is what we have done in the first 6 chapters. What it is all about, what you are. Now we are now equipped. This is what is like Swamiji was telling the Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. Vyavasayatmika Buddhi meaning you must be clear what is your Sharpta Nishchayam. That is called Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. You must be clear as to what this life is all about. What am I here for? That clarity, if it is there, no, I tell you, thereafter everything else falls in place. You don't really get bugged by what is happening around you. You know, whatever you have to do, okay, you have to navigate, keep moving. But understanding should be thorough. And as the understanding, initial seed of understanding is thorough, then it will only grow. Like even a crystallization, no? Crystallization, the first crystal is important. The first crystal comes out okay. Chemical, anyone who is interested in chemical analysis, they will know. That is why they will take care. The first crystal in crystallization process comes out correctly. Thereafter, the further crystallization all other crystals will grow up on that crystal. So, if the first crystal is okay, your crystallization will be complete. Likewise, our first understanding of self, our life, if it is okay, everything else falls in place. I tell you, you will understand that everything seems to be in all right. Swamiji, sometimes, he used to come to the audience and the first 5-10 minutes he will not talk. People are wondering, Swamiji, if he used to tell, I find everyone is nice, everyone is okay in their own space. I don't think I need to advise you anything. Then people used to persuade Swamiji to talk, then he will talk. So, everything is in its place. If you understand thoroughly, you will find that everything is in its place. You have no complaints about life. You have to only navigate accordingly. If somebody is like that, okay, accordingly you do. Somebody is like this, accordingly you do. If your situation is like this, accordingly you do. Because everything is going to be changing. There is nothing permanent about it. And there is nothing like, even that ishtam, anishtam is it's a mind block. In the sense, you start looking at a situation as a situation, you bring in the word ishtam, then it becomes the problem. You don't look at it as ishtam or anishtam, opposites. Just look at it as a situation, whatever you need to do. Accordingly you do. Okay. If you are going to a table where food is served, go eat your food, appease your hunger and come out. Instead of saying that I like it, I don't like it. If we develop that, neutral, sort of neutral attitude towards life, everything is in its place. You don't really have much to complain. Unless something totally amiss, there will always be something totally amiss. That situation you have to avoid. That's all. Otherwise, majority of our life we can navigate peacefully without any problem. That is for that. The nucleus is the understanding of.
It was very nice to read. I'm able to connect that when you're telling now in terms of going silent somewhere, doing it as a meditation and just coming back.
Yeah. That is always there. Even the Suresh Rajagopalan also, they had asked for a meditation. I have given them one capsule. What we have put in the YouTube or channel, there are 2 meditation talks of mine. I shared one with them. They wanted to know the just be meditation how to be. That they asked for that, and I have given them. I have sent them that. See, it is that is a hallmark of the whole thing. Just be. You be yourself. For that, you don't really need anything. You every day morning as you get up, just before you wake up to your own name, you just be. Doesn't really cost anything. Just an extension of sleep. Instead of the sleeping and you become a conscious sleeper and just be. Just give yourself the 30 seconds, 1 minute, whatever you can. And you will really feel nice. The day goes very well. I'm telling you. Because that is the reality. That is the reality of Tvam-Padartha, the being. Everything else is an addition. Addition, it is only a vibhuti. It is only the glory of the being expressing itself in various names and forms called life. It is your own glory. But it becomes, problem is, it is blasphemy in other religion and other philosophies for you to say that your being is the world, your being is Ishvara. But that is the hallmark, that is the glory of Vedanta, and that is the only real thing. Since the being, which is not it's timeless, spaceless, not even object, just be. Which is the something which we all of us can easily own up and claim as our reality. It is no big deal at all. Only that all that camouflages all our things, all that vikshepa, the distraction or flight from name, fame, our life, all along so many janmas we have gathered. If you are able to just park it aside and just be. Just park it aside. You don't have to do anything with them. Let them be there. But you be, you claim your reality every day, morning and night, whenever. And once you get the taste of it, you will like to do it more often. But there again, the Shastra itself says, don't get caught up in this Atma Sukham. You become so sukhi that every time instead of doing your work, you keep doing that. Because that much of blessing it is, I tell you. So that caution is also there. But the fact is, once you understand, you don't have to do it. Like as I have always been telling, a person with a musical background will always, that Shruti will be there at the back of the mind, whether she is cooking or whether doing Talapandra there, could keep humming something. The same way, this Shruti of I, the ever being, has to be the Shruti in our life. Then everything else is only a vibhuti. So that is what this meditation is all about. That is what this Tvam-Padartha is all about. That is what is Vyavasaya Atmika Buddhi is all about. That is what is Purushartha is all about. Life's purpose is all about. So all that has been explained in the first 6 chapters. Now from now on should be easy going if we are time and again. Anyway, now that we have put all these lectures, 15-20 lectures of the first 6 chapters, You can time and again, whenever you are free, you can listen to it. It's really nice. Those lectures are really good. Questions as well as answers. And it's everywhere. Anytime we have a lecture, you can always listen to one lecture. That will keep you refreshed. And as we go along with the next chapters. Okay. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Guru Guru Harihi Om. Okay.
Om.
Om.